Welcome to Just Minding My Business Radio, where we are moving at the speed of God, learning what we didn't know we didn't know. I'm your host, Ida Crawford.
And I'm your co-host, Ruth Haskins.
So grab a pen and paper and get ready for information that you can use.
Welcome to Just Minding My Business Media, LLC. It's time to look forward to 2022. Are you ready to take your message to television? 10x your business with digital exposure through Just Minding My Business Media, LLC on Roku and Fire TV. Contact us at jmmdmedia@gmail.com. Becoming isn't about arriving somewhere or achieving a certain aim. I see it instead as forward motion, a means of evolving, a way to reach continuously toward a better self. The journey doesn't end. Michelle Obama. Today we welcome Dr. Laquore Meadows. From poverty to Ph.D., Dr. Laquore J. Meadows is a visionary, dynamic leader and wealth builder, and the CEO and co-founder of Invest to Give, LLC. Inspired by the life and legacy of Dr. McLeod Bethune, she began her stock trading career with the aspiration to build and leave a financial legacy that will become the answer to someone's prayers. She has released a #1 Amazon best-selling ebook, Income on Demand, the complete playbook for beginning stock traders, to give beginners a peek into the world of stock trading and investing. She is also the founder of Stocks and Soarers, an initiative created to encourage members of Black Greek sororities to become active participants in the stock market. Welcome, Dr. Meadows.
Thank you so much. It's definitely a pleasure to be here.
Yes, it's a pleasure to have you.
Awesome.
So, poverty to PhD. Tell me about that.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I was very fortunate, right, to grow up in a home that was filled with love, hugs, and kisses, right? However, we had more ambition in our household than we had means. So my mother was such a blessing to me and continues to be a blessing to me, where she spent a lot of time just helping me to make sure that I achieved the education that my grandmother desired for me to have. And through that journey, I was able to become part of the Upward Bound program, which helped me to catapult my way to becoming a doctorate, receiving a doctorate in higher education administration. So that is my background. Yes.
Wow, that is awesome. So, wealth building, Invest to Give. Tell us what that's about.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I have been fortunate to have a position where I was exposed to immense generosity. There was an individual who decided to donate the organization that I led $5.3 million. 5.3 million. And so, of course, I grew up in church. I was able to see people give their tithes, things like that. But I had never saw a level of philanthropy at that level. So I had an opportunity to really spend some time with the individual who made the donation. And I learned that she accumulated a lot of her wealth through the stock market. And so I was so inspired by that gift that I too decided that I wanted to build as well as leave a financial legacy that was the answer to someone's prayers. And so that's what started my journey. I started to really dig into everything I could about learning about the stock market, because I too wanted to be able to build this wealth for myself, but also help others to do the same.
Yes. Wow. $5.3 million.
5.3 million. She did not blink. So I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
Yes.
Tell me what your reactions were.
Yes, I was just in shock, honestly, because I'm like, okay, if you can donate $5.3 million, like, how much money do you really have?
Of course, yes, that would be indeed.
Yeah, Yes. So, and then just the fact that she was so humble and just so ready to make a change, that just was just groundbreaking for me. And I too hope to someday be able to do the same.
Yes, and that's really what it's all about anyway. You can't
Absolutely.
take it with you. When you leave this earth, you are not going to be followed by the money in your casket.
Absolutely.
It is not going to
Absolutely.
help. It's not going to do you a darn good at that
Absolutely.
level.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Days are over.
Yes, and one of the things that I do know, giving is how you receive.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
You cannot hold a dollar. Matter of fact, if you try to hold a dollar till it holler, so to speak,
Mm-hmm.
you're going to find that it just slips away from your hands and you don't even know what happened to it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I am just so blown away. $5.3 million. That is just, you probably would have had to pick me up off the floor.
Wow. Yes,
Yes,
indeed.
yes, yes. And I'm a graduate of an HBCU, and so the institution that I worked for was not an HBCU, and I was just thinking like what that would do, right, for my school, for my alma mater. So it's just completely mind blowing, and also just a blessing. It's a blessing.
Yes, that's
Mm-hmm.
exactly what it is, a blessing.
Mm-hmm.
It's a blessing.
Yes.
So, the career in trading. So, how do you help others achieve that goal?
Absolutely. So trading for me is something that I help other people recognize as a skill that would change their life, right? Completely change their life. Spending time understanding how to leverage the stock market in order to generate income will truly position someone if they can learn a skill, but also really manage the mindset. It is something that can truly be an opportunity for you to never have to worry about money again, honestly. And so being able to be in position to teach people this skill is just a life-changing opportunity for me. And I absolutely love it.
Yes.
Mhm.
Okay. Everything, like you said, is mindset.
Yes.
So, give us a snippet of when somebody comes to you.
Yeah.
How do you massage them mentally to receive the information?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So what I do is I try to make sure I break down trading in particular into very basic concepts. So that actually is one of the reasons why I wrote the book that I did, which is Income on Demand, the complete playbook for beginning stock traders. The book is a conversation between myself and the reader to help them really understand the ABCs of the stock market. Right? What are the steps that you need to take in order to not only begin this journey, but to execute on it? And so that is one way that I've been able to help those beginner stock traders understand the key steps that they need to take. Another thing that I often share, and actually I did a workshop this weekend in Dallas, Texas, and it was a stocks and stores workshop. And during that workshop, I talked about the fact that I really believe a fifth grader can learn how to navigate the stock market easy, because really it boils down to three key things. It boils down to animals, it boils down to shapes, and it boils down to arithmetic. Animals, shapes, and arithmetic. And so when I talk about animals, the bulls and the bears. The bulls push price up, the bears push price down, right? The market moves in three ways. It moves up, down, and sideways. When the bull and the bear has agreed upon price, that's when it moves sideways, right? When it moves up, the bull's in control. When it moves down, the bear's in control. Easy concept that a fifth grader could learn. The other piece is arithmetic. So when we are talking about making money on the stock market, we enter at one price and we sell at another, right? Addition, right? Or subtraction, right? So you can help them to understand it from that aspect as well. And then last but not least, when I say shapes, when we're doing something called technical analysis and we're actually looking at a stock chart to make decisions, we're just looking for patterns. We're looking for formations. right? And so that's something that we can definitely teach a young person as well. So those are some tips just to kind of put people a bit at ease to say, okay, you know, I've got more education than the fifth grader, so I can probably understand this too. So that's the angle that I take.
Yes, and I like that. I like how you brought that.
Thank you. Thank you.
That's so much, it simplifies it because many people don't become involved with the stock market because they figure they could never possibly understand it. What people often see are the people on the floor of the stock exchange yelling and screaming and throwing their hands in the air, and they figure that that is not
Right.
for me. I can't do that.
Exactly.
Yes, and yes, that's definitely. And I work for like Mason in the IT department, so I've had to support the stock floor. And I'm telling you, everybody's got like 4 or 5 monitors around them. And when things aren't going right, there's yelling, there's cussing, there's you name it. It's going on. So the way that you bring it is so calming and comfortable, and oh, I could do that.
That sounds
absolutely. Absolutely. That's the goal.
Okay. Well, you have accomplished it in that fashion at this point. Now, let me ask you, what is one of the chief drawbacks for many people that you come up again, like Ida asked about massaging the mind to get it ready to do this? What are the things that people throw up as their reasons that they can't do it?
Absolutely. So that's a really, really great question. So there are a couple of things that I hear often. One is I'm too busy, right? I don't have time to trade. I don't want to be connected to a computer all day. And so then my job is to then break down those myths and say, you don't have to be, right? You can place long-term positions. You can do something called purchasing option sleeps, right? Which is long-term options trade and not have to spend a lot of money in the process doing it. Another thing I hear is, oh, I'm too scared to lose my money. Okay, all right, got you there too. We can manage our risk. There's something called placing stops on your account so that if the trade begins to go against you, it'll stop you out of your trade and you won't have to lose any more money, not even a penny, right? More than what you desire to, more than what you're comfortable with. Okay, so that's another thing that people often say. Another question I get is, okay, so how much money do I need to begin, right? And so my answer to that, especially as it relates to trading, now investing is a little bit different, but in trading, my response to them is 0. I want you to start with 0. Okay. The reason why I want you to start with 0 is because I want you to practice first. I want you to practice. And while you're practicing, be building your account with as much money as possible. And then once you start seeing consistent wins, consistent profits, consistent gains, and I say it 3 different ways so they can get it, right? But once you start seeing that happen, then that's when it's time for you to begin to put your money to work. And so, and then once we move beyond that conversation, my answer to that question is $1,000 is more than enough to get started. Now, of course, if you have more money, then that's great because that will enable you to buy more companies, take ownership in more companies, or purchase more options contracts. But really starting with 0, in my opinion, is the best way to go.
Wow. You said something that I have to ask. What is the difference between trading and investing?
Oh, yes, I love it. That's a great question. So when we're talking about investing, we're talking about long-term, okay? We're talking about long-term, 12 months or more is typically what's considered an investment, okay? When we're trading, that is a more short-term strategy. So anywhere from a couple of seconds to a couple of minutes to weeks to months, as long as it's below that year time frame, that is considered a trade. Okay. All right.
Wow.
Does a person get to set the limits of time for a trade? If they want it to be 6 months, 2 months, 3 months?
Absolutely, absolutely. You can definitely do that. Anytime you want to close out a position, you can definitely do so. One of the things that I recommend that people learn how to do if they're interested in trading is really have a good understanding of technical analysis. Because if you're able to read stock charts, then you're able to discern what makes sense for a good entry point, as well as what makes sense for a good exit point, which then influences the time frame that you're in your positions. So we can look at it based off of time, but we also want to make educated decisions that will help us to make sure that we aren't losing money, right, in a pot, what could have been a once positive position. Okay, and you can do that through understanding technical analysis.
Okay, and you teach that?
Absolutely, all day.
Okay, all day. All right. Okay.
Yes.
Yes. So, if people want to get in contact with you, how do they do so?
Yes, absolutely. So I can be found in a number of different places. One at my website, invest2give.com, invest2give.com. Also on Instagram. That's an easy way to reach me, is at invest2give. I'm on Facebook and I'm also on Pinterest. So you can find me all those places.
All right, now. Wow. I like how you explain that. I'm so comfortable with it.
Yes. I feel like I could learn from you, and I'm hoping our listening audience hears that, that this is doable. And this is a person who's putting it in terms that I can understand. Sometimes when people talk about it, they go off the rail and you're like, I have no idea what you're talking about. But this sounds doable. Like you said, a fifth grader could probably do it. And today, with fifth graders today and their tech knowledge, they can probably do it immediately. But Absolutely. Let me ask you, what about some of the other investment or trading organizations that we find on the internet that you can invest for? I don't want to mention names, but there are other entities that say that you can invest for a little bit of money, and then they roll out all the stocks that are available and all of that. One of the things that I see as a problem is that there's no training. It's simply give us your money, make a decision about which stocks look good to you, which is not the way to choose stocks. So I guess my real question is, how do you choose what you want to trade or invest?
That is such a great question. And I often say this when I'm teaching my respective classes, is that my mom always says, okay, what burns my butter? Okay. So I'm going to share what burns my butter. All right.
Okay.
Okay. So what burns my butter is when people offer the suggestion that you should buy or trade what you know. All right. Buying or trading what you know does not always make sense. Not intellectual sense, but CENTS, right? It does not always make sense. So with that said, one of the things that is very important for us to consider is, first and foremost, is the company healthy? Okay, is the company healthy? Also, if we're looking at something called an exchange traded fund, or in other words, an ETF, it's important for us to understand what makes that up. So ETFs are very similar to mutual funds, but they're traded on the stock market. So it's like a basket of stocks. So we want to know, are the companies that are embedded within a healthy companies as well? The other thing, as it relates to trading, we need movers. We need movers. So companies that move, when I say move, I mean their price moves each day. Companies that move just a few cents, that's not going to help us to achieve the profits that we typically desire unless we buy a whole lot of shares. Okay, we have to buy volume in order to profit greatly off of that. So it's better to look at companies that move. So my benchmark, I like to look at companies that move at least $2, but up to about $25 a day. Okay, if they move within that range, then gives me some assurance that I will be able to accomplish my goal that I've set for myself during that respective trading day, trading week, or however long the technical analysis suggests that I should be looking at it. So those are some of the criteria that I take a look at when I'm selecting companies to trade within my portfolio. So for me, and I'll share this and then I'll pause. For me, I look at selecting companies like I look at hiring for employees, right? So when we're hiring someone, we're looking at their history. We're looking at how they performed in their past positions. We're looking at where did they kill the game? How, based off of their history, how would they perform most likely if they come and be a part of my team? Okay, so my goal is to find companies that's going to do a job, and that job is to build my bank account, right? So I'm looking at the history to understand that, okay, if they perform well in the past, then there's a strong likelihood that if I hire them to do the job that I need them to do, that they will do pretty well, okay? Doesn't always happen. Things happen in the market all the time, but at least with some level of certainty, I'm able to position myself in that way. Okay. And I teach students to do the same. Yeah. Does that make sense?
Yes, it makes a whole lot of sense.
Okay, perfect.
Again, perfect. When you want to go and discover something about a stock, find out about the health of the stock, where do you go to find that information?
Yeah, so there are a lot of different places you can learn that. So let me start with the macro level, the more challenging kind of, let's go through the weeds level and I'll bring it down to a more easier level, okay? So each quarter, companies release a 10Q or a 10K. So the 10Q are quarterly reports that a company releases to say, okay, this is our earnings, this is how well we did, how maybe we had some missteps this past quarter. Also, within those documents, you'll see qualitative information that comes out from the CEO and the CFO, basically telling you what has happened, right? Or what their projections are. So those reports are one place where you can go and find out about respective companies. And you can find that on the Securities Exchange Commission, which is sec.gov, or you can go directly to a company's website to find that information as well. All right. So that's the big kind of robust way, right, to dig into this information. But if you just want a simpler way to go in and take a look at their financials, something like Yahoo Finance, Morningstar, those types of financial, CNBC, those type of websites will allow you to go in and look under a company's, when you first use a ticker symbol, which is like the abbreviation for a company, to look it up, it will bring up something called a stock summary. On that stock summary, there's typically a tab there that says financials. And so once you select financials, that's how you can dig into those respective, the data that's released on the 10Q and 10K. Okay, so that's an easier way to get to that information as well.
Okay, I was going to say the Morningstar. I remember picking that up for a couple of the people at Legg Mason. They would deliver it every day.
Okay. Yes.
I hadn't heard of that. Okay. See, there's so much that people don't know. And there's so much fear and anxiety. And like you said, one of the big things is that am I going to lose my little dollars that I put into this? And yet, from what I'm hearing you say, is that the best way to go about this is to do your research, then go in and practice.
Absolutely.
And while you're practicing, start stowing away the money that you want to use for trading.
Absolutely.
And then you'll have a better you'll know by the time you finish practicing, you'll know what you're doing, and then you'll know where to place your money as well. You know, it's not like going to the tracks. And I like Golden Boy. It's a good,
right?
You know, it's just so much. There's so much more certainty. The way that you're presenting it doesn't mean that you can't lose your money. Things happen around the world that affect the stock markets around the world. But when you have knowledge, same old thing, knowledge is power.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
I really commend you for taking it to the source and to being here so that our audience can hear about this.
Mm-hmm.
You know, people just don't know. We don't know, and we're afraid to ask because we feel that not everybody knows, but sometimes we feel that we don't have the right to know. We're not in the position to know. You know, who am I to even think about being in the stock market? You know, I don't have buckets of money, or I don't drive a Mercedes. You know, we have so many preconceptions of what it means to invest in the stock market or trade in the stock market. Almost as if we have to quote unquote be somebody. We don't. We can be schmo on the corner. We don't have to be, you know, the Ritz.
Absolutely.
And that's what people believe. They feel that I don't deserve it. I can't do that. Who am I?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I want to share just something with your listeners. Know that you can be you. You can be you, right? And do this. I do not have one degree on my wall to suggest that I should have made $14,000 in a day, okay, by trading on the stock market. Not one. But I do, and I did, right? And I make money just about every day that I'm actively trading on the market. So just know that you can be you. This is not all the fancy words. That's just a way to keep us out, in my opinion, right?
Yes, exactly.
Right. That's just the way to keep us out. But finding someone that can help to break those terms down for you, again, it's easy as animals, arithmetic, and shapes. Get that core and put it in the context of the overarching economic environment, and you've got it. You've got it.
Wow. I love the way you put that.
One more question. So now you're going to start from zero and you're going to be practicing. What is the platform for practice?
Yes. Okay. So happy you asked that question. So there are a number of different brokers. So brokers are essentially a partner in this process. So in order to facilitate the buy and sell process of buying securities, you need an organization or company, if you will, to do that on your behalf. And so with that said, I use personally TradeStation is the company that I use. It has a simulated feature. I teach my students using their web-based version because sometimes the desktop platform can feel a bit cumbersome. So the web-based version is very helpful. In addition to TradeStation, TD Ameritrade, I also have them as a broker too. They have a platform called Thinkorswim, which a lot of people use. And if someone, you know, like myself, when I first started, you know, I wanted to go to YouTube University. I think I have like 5 degrees from YouTube University. But there's a lot of videos out there that utilize this TD Ameritrade as well. Webull is a newer one this in the market now that can be also a good opportunity to practice with as well. They have a simulated feature too. So those are 3 that come to mind. Webull, Webull. Webull, Webull.
Okay. Oh, Webull. I got it.
I got it. One of the animals.
Exactly. Yeah, one of those animals. Yes, that bull showed up again.
Yes. Wow. This has been so invigorating. You know, talking about money in a way that is like totally understandable. You know, I mean, like you said, you can be 5th grader and receive this comfortably. So I'm loving it. Now I have one question.
Sure.
Okay, you were inspired by the life and legacy of Dr. Mary.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about that. Tell me about that.
Absolutely. So I first came across Dr. Mary McLeod Bethune when I was actually in elementary school. So one of the things my mother was very, very, very passionate about was making sure a sister understood her Black history. Okay.
That's right.
So she had me memorizing Peters and all this other stuff like all the time. So I learned about so many different people. But what I was most inspired by with her life and legacy was the fact that not only did she begin a whole school that is still here, right, and doing well, but she also served as an advisor to multiple presidential administrations, right, and did so unapologetically. And so just the fact that she was so versatile with her expertise, people went to her for knowledge, and the fact that she was an educator just truly just continues to this day inspire me so much. And I get excited talking about her because if I can do just a fraction of what she was able to accomplish during her lifetime, I would say that's a life well lived. So inspired by her. Yes.
You're the first person that we've actually talked to that took it way back like that.
Yes. Yes, just I love her. And she's actually, I'm a member of a sorority, which is Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. And she was one of the reasons why I'm like, I want to be a Delta. Yes. Her, Dorothy Height, and Janetta B. Cole. Those are my sheroes.
I know that's right.
Yes.
Wow. So if people want the book, how do they get the book? Income on Demand.
Absolutely. So they can actually go to my website, which is invest2give.com. Or if they just want to go directly and get the book, it's actually a book and course bundle that I've created now. So I have both so you can actually learn alongside the book for the 7 Keys of Income on Demand. That link is stocktraderplaybook.com. Stocktraderplaybook.com.
Okay. So I'm gonna probably go pick it up because I trade a little bit.
Awesome.
Yes, I do a little bit, but I really want to be a little bit more what's the word I'm looking for? Yeah, I need to really know what I'm doing. Let's put it that way. And really focus on it. I mean, I understand the bear, the bull. I do understand the candlesticks. So I had a little bit of training, but I think in the early days when I did the training, I felt like it was nerve-wracking, I guess watching other brokers and, the like Ruth said, the hollering, the hitting the table. And I'm like, you know what? I don't need nothing that's going to make me crazy like that.
Other things that we can work on that fill that bill. We're all in that position. And like Ida, I have very little knowledge. I picked up a few things here and there, but to really get to know it, it's just like really important. Ida and I have had this conversation with other people who have been on our platform that we do not raise our children, and I'm just going to talk about people of color.
Yes.
We do not train them in money wisdom.
Absolutely.
How to use money. It's not about the love of money. Money is a necessity, and we just don't train or infuse that into our children. Now, what you're seeing a lot on television are these special banking arrangements. They're actually banks for children. Basically, that's what they are, or they're an adjunct to a bank, where there's a little mobile thing where the children get paid. They're what do you call it? They get paid for their chores. They get an allowance, but their allowance goes into a bank. So they are learning how to get paid, but put it someplace so that they can use it another way. What you're doing is on a grander scale and for adults and children alike, because I'm telling you, there's some children that will get this lickety split. Okay, absolutely. They will totally understand it and go for it. Give them $200 and see what they do with it.
They probably triple it.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Get it and be gone with it. You'll be like looking at their dust.
Right.
You know, this is just so important. I guess what I really want to say to you, and I want the audience to understand, this is Dr. Meadows. This is not someone who, you know, off the back porch who's talking about something. This is Dr. Meadows. And this information, I would love to see the visual representation of it.
Yeah.
Just Minding My Business and MSN TV. We have room for a host like you.
Yes,
This
we
is
do.
such vital information. I would love to see the visuals, and I know our listening audience will become our watching audience just to listen and learn from you. So I'm just throwing that out.
I love it.
Absolutely. I have another question. So you're the founder of Stocks and Sorors.
Yes.
What is that about? And what is Black Greek sorority?
I'm so excited that you asked me that question. I am like so excited because this is a thing that I held on to for a full year, because I was scared. I was so scared. But let me tell you, I'm so happy that you asked. So, okay, so your second question was what is a sorority?
The Black Greek sorority, yes.
Absolutely, absolutely. So there are 4 Black Greek sororities that were founded beginning in 1908. The first Black Greek sorority was Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. It was founded on the campus of Howard University. And then there's Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, which was founded in 1913, also on the campus of Howard University. The next one is Zeta Phi Beta, which was founded in 1920, and Sigma Gamma Rho was founded in 1922. The whole purpose behind these Black Greek sororities is to be of service to our communities. There are different reasons why different sororities kind of started as groups in order for Black women to gather, to collaborate, advance one another, but also, most importantly, advancing our communities. So that leads me into the rationale behind Stocks and Sorors. So about a year ago, a little bit over a year ago now, I was sitting back and I was really reflecting upon next year, 2022, Sigma Gamma Rho sorority, which is the 4th founded sorority, will reach their centennial year. And so when I thought about that, I thought to myself, wow, collectively, all of our sororities will have had 400 years of service to not only our communities from a domestic standpoint, but globally. That's huge.
That is very huge.
That is huge. For Black women as a collective, I mean, we already do our thing, right? We definitely do our thing. But collectively, thousands upon thousands, hundreds of thousands of women have in some way impacted our communities. And so when I thought about that, I sat back and I was like, you know what? Wouldn't it be awesome if we use this time in our history to position our families financially for the next 400 more? And so I was saying, okay, stocks and sorors, because we can do this with the stock market, right? So I was like, okay, so maybe I can go and I can teach people what I've learned, right, about the stock market, how to trade. I also, I'm an investor as well, a long-term investor. So I can teach fundamentals. So I was like, okay, all right. So let me figure out how do I put this out there? And then fear set again. And I was like, okay, I don't know if they're gonna like this. I don't know what this is gonna be about. But then later, God was like, go. It's go time. And so I said, all right, okay. So I met with my chapter president, spoke with her about it, and she loved it and said, go. And so I did. And so here we are.
Oh my God. Alrighty now. Yes. I love it. So so this is going to be a big initiative in 2022.
Yes, I've actually already begun it. So a couple of months ago, I held my first launch event, which was in Atlanta, Georgia. And so I decided to go there first because there are a gazillion Greeks in Atlanta. And so held the launch of it there. And then also I teach every single Sunday, 2:30 to 4:30 religiously. It's a intro to the stock market training. And my whole goal with that is what I'm seeking to accomplish is I want to educate 1,908 members of Alpha Kappa Alpha, 1,913 members of Delta Sigma Theta, 1,920 members of Zeta Phi Beta, and 1,922 members of Sigma Gamma Rho. And so whichever sorority reaches their founding year first, I'm then going to donate that dollar amount to a nonprofit of their choice. And so that's the whole goal behind the Stocks and Soars challenge that I'm doing. So every Sunday, I'm online, I'm teaching, and I'm tabulating those numbers. Yes.
Wow, that is so awesome. You are such a blessing.
Thank you.
Oh my goodness.
Thank you.
You are well deserving of that $5.3 million.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Wow.
Thank you. I'm on a mission because I mean, really, truly, people have been investing in the stock market for a very long time, right? Very, very, very long time. And, and the thing too that I think about as well is, and this is something that I speak about when I present, are those gems of Wall Street. So the first assets that were bought and sold on Wall Street were enslaved Africans. So if we built it, we should be able to profit from it.
Absolutely.
There you go.
Absolutely. We was the first trade.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Wow.
And so that is why another reason, I got many reasons, but another reason why I'm so passionate about this. We have to honor those gems. It is imperative. They worked hard. They worked hard.
Yes, they did.
So now it's about us taking the money that we have and put it to work for us.
Wow. Wow. Y'all heard that? Your money gotta work for you.
Absolutely. And these companies too. While we're out here buying Apple products, Apple can go to work for us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Easy.
Nike and all of the rest stuff.
Absolutely. I love me a Tory Bridge. I love me a Brahmin bag. Or all of those things that can go to work for me. Okay. So while we have, and I'm not really big into the fancy things now. I might buy one or two here or there, but last time I needed an iPad mini, guess who paid for it? Apple.
That's the way to go.
I know that's right.
That's an awesome way of changing perspective. Rather than I'm going to go spend my money with Apple, no, I'm going to spend the money that Apple has given me on their products. And I don't mind that.
I love it. Oh my God, Laquore,
that is a gem as well.
Yes, that is a huge gem.
Yes.
Thank you.
Total change in perspective.
Wow. I am so glad we met you.
Awesome. I'm glad to be here. This is fun.
Oh my goodness. Wow. So you coming back. It's on
Absolutely
now. We have met you. We have felt your vibration. Our audience has now gotten a whiff of you. So it is definitely on. And
awesome.
Thank you so much for everything that you have given us this day. We are truly blessed and highly favored to have you in our presence.
Absolutely. The pleasure is truly all mine. Thank you so much for having me here.
Thank you.
Your business, through Just Minding My Business Media, has exposure on internet radio, major social media platforms, and now TV. Through Just Minding My Business, dynamic digital marketing platform. Don't listen to the word on the street. Hear it for yourself. Visit jmmb.assistercircle.org to learn how you can take your business, your vision, to the next level. Voiceovers by RCH VoiceWorks, for when you want to be heard. Call 443-620-4115.
Thank you for tuning in to Just Minding My Business Radio. I'm your host, Ida Crawford.
And I'm your co-host, Ruth Haskins.
We hope you enjoyed the show and appreciate you stopping by. Many blessings to you and yours.